Today's guest is one of the founding team members of SuperProfile,
It is in DMs where commerce conversation takes place.
a platform that helps creators make money from their audience with creators on the platform making thousands per month on average.
I think he has earned, about $20,000 to $30,000 within 2 months.
They raised about 1.5 million in the seed round from a mix of VCs and individual investors, including Netflix's CMO and Bollywood actor Ron Vijay, and have grown to a team of 100 members. Before SuperProfile, our guest here was actually on the team for Product Hunt, helping entrepreneurs launch and get discovered.
I wrote a cold email to Ryan Hoover and I told him that, I really want to join this team. And, within a few weeks, I was at Product Hunt.
So please welcome to the show, Aditya Choudhary.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks for this wonderful introduction. Very excited about this. I've, heard about UGC World from a lot of creators and, also figured out that we have some really, really interesting trivia here, which is that Gloria was in fact one of the first creators that we partnered with for SuperProfile. This is when Gloria had just started her UGC coaching career, and that's how we got to know about her. And what a wonderful coincidence that you reached out and we got so many things in common.
Full circle, man. The world is a small place. So Gloria is my business partner, right, for the BDC side, for people who don't know. And she was one of the first, you said? One of the first creators?
Yes, so she is one of the first creators that talked about SuperProfile internationally. And I think this is about 1.5 years ago. So I think this must be on Gloria's page. If you just scroll down, I think she has, made more than, 600 videos. But one of her first videos which talked about, product is in fact, SuperProfile. This is when we were, just starting our international, sort of expansion. We started in India way back in 2021. It's been about 4 years since we have been, building SuperProfile. And, we started with a very, very small thing, which is to build a product for, content creators to help them build communities. And I think, good that, you are also building a community. So you truly resonate with, our mission. Back in 2021, community was a buzzword. And we thought that, building something in this space would be quite rewarding. And, we were quite lucky in that manner that, we got a lot of investor interest for, building something in creator economy, and we were able to do it. And, idea from day one was to build a global company, but then we just wanted to see if it's a product market fit in India. And, by God's grace, this came out to be a huge success. And just 1.5 years ago, we thought of doing something internationally. We were just testing our grounds and we came across Gloria, and this really worked out well for us. So wonderful.
It was meant to be. I agree. I feel like it was meant to be. It was fate. I want to dive into SuperProfile because that's kind of the main thing that I find the most interesting. But you did mention Product Hunt before we talked, that you were a part of the team there as well. If you want to dive into really briefly, what did you do before at the Product Hunt team?
Absolutely. So, my background is not typically into startups or tech. I'm not an engineer by training. In fact, I did my education in economics and sociology. And one fine day, I wrote a cold email to Ryan Hoover and I told him that, I really want to join this team. And, within a few weeks, I was at Product Hunt. I, used to manage their community. I was in their product operations team. And it was a wonderful time, when a lot of crypto-related tech startups were, coming out. And I used to help founders launch their products there. I had a great pleasure of helping all sort of founders. So if you look at Loom, if you look at Figma, all these companies, launched on Product Hunt first. And I had a great pleasure of helping all these founders. In fact, one of the launches was Gamma, where I helped the founder, and it was a wonderful time.
What have you learned in your time at Product Hunt that you feel like you've then applied at SuperProfile?
I think, creator-led marketing and founder-led marketing is something that is truly, truly valuable. That's something that I learned at Product Hunt, because at Product Hunt, a lot of startups used to launch who did not have any product market fit. So they were trying to get their first set of users. And of course, all these folks also did not have, marketing teams to work with, or, big enough marketing budgets. So the founders used to market their products themselves. A lot of these people used to market it on Twitter. If you see a lot of folks on Twitter, they launch their products on Product Hunt. They market it by themselves. And that is how they used to get their first set of users. So if you are a builder, you truly need to be a marketeer yourself. And, nothing beats creative marketing. That's something that I saw at Product Hunt. That also, got me interested in creator economy. That, hey, building a product is relatively going to be easier in future. So what is really going to be a differentiation is going to be distribution. And for that, you need to be a creator. So that's something that I, learned at Product Hunt. And that's also something that, we teach creators who use SuperProfile, how to build a business around it and stuff like that.
Super interesting. So you said the moat, basically, what is going to be your distinguishing factor, or is going to give you the biggest boost, is your ability to actually distribute, not build a product. Because why? Because you can build it with AI you can vibe code it in like an afternoon, probably.
Absolutely. I use, Claude all the time. In fact, a lot of our team members use Claude, and things that used to take, weeks and months, now they can be, shipped within few hours. So ideating something and building that first prototype is very easy. But, getting sales is, more difficult these days. Because to get those sort of sales, you need to have better distribution, and the space is very competitive. So how do you really stand out in this particular space? You need to be really, really creative. You need to have a distribution, sort of a thing. Sometimes I, give example to my team that no one can really beat Microsoft, not because they have a great product, but it is because of the distribution pipeline that they have built over last 2 to 3 decades. Like in every part of the world, every software vendor is basically a Microsoft reseller, right? So when you purchase any sort of personal computer or a laptop, default operating system in many of those is Windows. And this has happened because of the distribution and the kind of channel partners that Microsoft has built over a period of time. So distribution is really going to be the moat in an era where building a product is super easy.
Very interesting. How would you, I guess, for the people who are starting an app, building something for themselves, how would you approach it if you could give a step-by-step? Because you just said, building the prototype, the MVP, probably not that difficult with stuff like Claude Code, right? Vibe code it in an afternoon. How would you then approach it step by step? How would you approach distribution specifically for people starting out? If you would give us a brief rundown.
Sure. I think to build something in this space, first you need to identify a problem. And many of these problems are, problems that you yourself face. So if you see that in your particular workflow, there is, a problem that you are coming across on a day-to-day basis. So, don't wait for any random person to, come and give you a solution, but build a solution for yourself, right? This is something that we do a lot internally. right? So we have built a lot of internal tools that solve a specific problem for ourselves, and Claude is the place to go after it. So for example, if you want to look at creators who are in real estate and are getting a lot of engagement, and if I have a brand that really wants to connect with them, we have built an internal tool which is able to find all those real estate sort of creators in one go, and then we are able to connect them with any brand if the brand wants to approach them. So finding a problem that you yourself face and then building a prototype sort of a solution using Claude Code is the easiest way to go about.
You're gonna put me out of work, Aditya, if you're gonna connect creators with brands, man. But
No.
explain briefly how, I'm very interested in that. How does that work? So basically, how do you get the list of creators in the first place? These are just super profile users, basically?
Absolutely. So, we have more than 250,000 creators who use Superprofile, and particularly our DM automation product, AutoDM. And these are from, different parts of the world. And given that people have signed up and, they have connected their Instagram accounts, it is easy for us to understand what is their niche. So this is not some, random outside database that, I'm talking about, but people who truly use the product. So, this is for them. But otherwise also, if you want to just use Meta's creator marketplace, you can use Manas for it. And, you just need to connect your Facebook account and just go to Manas and, give a prompt that, hey, I want to connect with 20 creators who are from Canada and want to, probably promote beauty products. So you will get a list of, those folks. And then, of course, you can reach out to specific people if you want.
Super interesting. You can probably do the same one with TikTok One. I saw the same thing. We personally source from the internal community. It's nowhere near, you said 250,000 users or 250,000 creators big. Nowhere as big. We're currently at, what, like 12.5K creators. I'm telling you, man, you're gonna put me out of work with this. We're launching, this is internal information, by the way, so non-disclosed as of yet, but we're launching a campaign soon. And I guess I should ask you then for creators for that one.
Absolutely. Always happy to, help. I think I'm one of those guys who, doesn't believe in competition, but I believe in collaboration,
Well,
right?
absolutely.
And
100%
then
work together. Yep.
absolutely. I think a lot of creators also, I feel that, there is a need for collaboration more than, competition. Sometimes creators think that, oh, the other creator is being, really good in their particular niche. So, people feel that, it's all about competition, but I feel that it's more about collaboration.
I get what you're saying. This is very interesting though, and I've noticed this from actually being in the community, founding it, building it, running it. A lot of creators do have that fear of missing out. Oh, this person is stealing my potential clients, whatever. And I'm saying to them, and I'm seeing what's happening here, and we have more brands than creators at this point, right? There's so much demand at this point. Specifically, we're gonna dive into the creator economy. I would love to get your insight on that. There is so much opportunity. A lot of brands like Superprofile, like a lot of other companies are going into that creator marketing space. So I'm telling them over and over again, nobody's stealing your work. This is literally a once in a lifetime opportunity where there's a huge supply shortage, I would say also. Very interesting.
Absolutely. I think, there is a lot of, I think there is a lot of what you mentioned, supply chain, sort of an issue, because everyone wants good content, but then there are very few people who can make good content. So people never have to think that, okay, this is being competitive or anything. But I feel that, there is space for everyone to literally thrive. I think that's how it should be. Also, if you're really, really good creator, you wouldn't want to just feel sad for yourself saying that, okay, someone else has copied, but you should be like, reinventing the wheel by like you coming out with something truly innovative. I think if you don't just hop on the trend, but craft a trend, then, you are literally in top 1% of being a creator.
How do you craft a trend?
I think for this, like, you need to have really good attention to detail and ability to like, notice things which others are not able to notice. I think that's how, really good trends come in. One, it has to be entertaining. Second, it should have it should have high reproducibility, which is that people can easily reproduce it. And third, it should be shareable, right? It should be something which, people feel that, hey, like, let me just share it with my 10 friends because it reminds me of that. So something like that. And good creators are able to like, do something like this. I think Vine used to be one platform where people were like, really creating those trends, and then like, those things went on to TikTok, and then those trends went on to Instagram.
Very interesting. So when you say trend, how I understand it from what you're saying is a trend specifically to market a product, like a content, basically a content format. Is that not what we're talking about? Like a specific format you mentioned, it should be highly replicable. So it should be replicable by multiple people, right? It shouldn't be like a one-off thing that you do once, because that can't turn into a trend. Highly shareable. And then the third thing was what?
Even I forgot.
I think this is very true and very important. I feel like one thing that I either didn't hear or misunderstood is I feel like it needs to be converting also, like at least to some extent product driven. No, if you're trying to start a trend to actually sell a product, which is the whole point, it should be product focused, product driven, at least to some extent. No.
Absolutely. So, a lot of creators, they make content which is just top of the funnel sort of content, which is creating brand awareness. But, being on the brand side, I understand the pain it is that, you just make content which is just, giving that brand name, but then never really tell the utility of that product. So, driving people towards a conversion metric, which may not be sales all the time. It can be just an activation metric as well, which is that, you tell people to go and take some action on an app. I've seen a lot of study apps doing this really well, where they have a hook for about, 2 to 3 seconds, and then they tell how that product really works. Now, people, when they see those sort of videos, they also want to reproduce that same sort of outcome that the creator has achieved through that video. And while trying to achieve that outcome, of course, there can be like, paywall as well. So bypassing that paywall and achieving that outcome, I think that's how, brands should be targeting if they want to like, really get sales, as well as people who really stick on their product, because no one is really going to use a product if they don't use it on a recurring basis.
Mm-hmm. I think I get what you're saying. It's like how to make it product driven. It's to present them with a problem, which is probably built in the hook, present the app, the thing that you're selling, as a solution to that problem, tie it into a use case, basically an outcome that they want to achieve. That is a use case, right? And then put the outcome behind the paywall, so that in order for them to get to the outcome, to fulfill the use case, they need to buy.
Absolutely. I've seen Jenny AI doing this pretty well. So, he's going all out on doing creator marketing, and this has like, really worked well for them. I think Cluely also tried to do something similar in this space. So I think that has also worked pretty well for them.
Cluely popularized the model, from what I understand. They were kind of the forerunners of this whole thing. We placed a couple of creators into that creator program as well, and they were a huge success. I think something like 300, it was either 300 million views across 3 months or 300 million views in 1 month by the end of 3 months. Something crazy like that. Right, never heard of before. Crazy stuff happening there. I agree though. One thing that I want to tie into, which also ties into Super Profile, is what? It is that you mentioned the conversion metric that we can look at. It doesn't necessarily need to be sales, right? It can be maybe a step before. So what comes before? Maybe, getting them to take a certain action, which, for example, could be clicking on a link, right? Where does Super Profile tie into there? How does it support? How does it help?
Right. Super Profile's Auto DM product is something that's meant for Instagram creators. We are also, going to launch it for TikTok as well in future. So yeah, kudos to that. But yeah, like on Instagram, the biggest problem is that, everyone is making reels, but no one is driving that traffic towards a conversion metric. So people are just watching that reel and scrolling past. They are not taking intended action. And that's when we thought that, building a DM automation sort of a thing would really make sense, because it is in DMs where commerce conversation takes place. Right? If you are trying to buy something for, let's say, $300 or $500, you're not going to buy it just by, looking at a video for the first time. In fact, you would want to probably inquire a bit more, ask a few questions here and there. Once you feel confident that, okay, this is really something that you need, then you go and, buy it. So the first major objective with AutoDM was to drive conversations in DMs. And this can be done through stories, through posts, through reels. And this is something that we have done, and this is something that we have seen a lot of creators finding success with. So people comment, people get that link in their DMs, and it is from there if they want to have a conversation and sell, or they can direct it to any other place they want. So a lot of people who have their own Shopify stores, personal websites, Discord servers, Telegram channels, WhatsApp channels, people drive traffic to their respective places. Even school communities. I've seen a lot of, school admins doing really good marketing on Instagram and driving all that traffic to their school communities.
In fact, we used a similar model to grow our school community. The main kind of focal point of the strategy was the Instagram profile of my business partner, Gloria, that we mentioned at the beginning. Right now at, I don't know how many, like 200,000 plus followers. We looked at the statistics. A lot of them fit the ICP creators in that case. But I have to admit, we used ManyChat for that one up until this point. Really briefly, how do you feel like the two tools compare? Are they even comparable? ManyChat, Super Profile. How do they compare if they do? Because a lot of people use ManyChat.
Right. So, this is actually coming from a Reddit thread that I saw, where an Instagram creator was, saying that, hey, they're using ManyChat, but it's literally, bleeding their purse. And I was like, oh, what happened here? I went to their website and I saw that, the pricing model, the business model that ManyChat has, it is contact-based pricing model. So you are literally being punished for growing really fast. So creators who have a lot of contacts, who engage with a lot of people, they have to pay in hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And this is really unsustainable, because a lot of creators who are growing really fast, they may not have any sort of monetization avenue so far. So let's say if you have 2,000 or 3,000 contacts being, run through ManyChat, you may have to pay $50, $60, $100, in fact, more. And then we thought that, okay, we need to build a product which is really creator-centric, not just big business-centric. And it has to have a flat price, which is less than $1 a day sort of pricing. And then, we thought of, launching AutoDM for just $29 a month. It costs just $5 a month for the first month. So we wanted to allow a lot of people to come in and try, and then use it unlimited. no restrictions whatsoever. Like many times people, ask this as a clarifying question, if this is really unlimited contacts. And I'm like, oh yes, this is really unlimited contacts. And people have literally used it to grow followers like crazy. I've seen creators gaining 100,000 followers on Instagram through a feature which is called follower growth nudge inside AutoDM, and they've grown more than 100K within a couple of weeks. So yeah, this is the kind of impact that we've been able to create. But if you ask what's the major differentiator, the differentiator is our business model. We don't want to penalize creators who are growing really fast. We want to support them and support them in a way which is pocket friendly. So just $5 for the first month, $29 from second month, unlimited usage whatsoever.
This turned into a fantastic sales pitch. I like it. No, but in all seriousness, we used ManyChat in the past, and I think we had our whole team on it, and we are paying, you said 50 to 60 to 100. I think we're paying like $600 plus a month, even more than that, because I think it's contact based and also seat based, like chat seats, individual team members that you can onboard, and then let chat. Craziness. We spent. No, it's not a lot of money, but for a normal person, I feel like they wouldn't be able to do that in that scale.
$600 on a recurring basis every month is a huge amount. Like you're paying about what, $7,000 a year. This amount is huge. Probably like so some student can see this as their college tuition fee. If not more.
Probably. We could have brought somebody through college with that money. Now I feel bad. Damn. We
For
could have.
sure.
Yeah. I want to dig into that. If you would really operationalize it for us, like really break it down, how would you approach follower growth then? I want to tie it back to the question that I asked earlier, which is how do you go about like starting a new thing, right? We went through I think we trailed off into like building a format like a trend, for example, right? But I want to go into how can founders and creators use this creator economy, use this mechanism that we're talking about here specifically, which is like DM commerce, right? Shooting people in the DMs, selling them there, and getting that. How do you go about it really step by step? If you really granularly break it down, what would you do to grow your follower base, tie in DM commerce, and go from there?
Sure. I think for any sort of founder, any sort of creator to grow on Instagram today, it is really easy because their algorithm has, shaped in a way which is helping a lot of small creators. So first you need to figure out what is your niche. So let's say if you're a founder who is, selling sneakers online, right? Let me, just give you some hypothetical example. So just, go on internet, just look out for entrepreneurship, sneakers, sneaker brands, these sort of keywords, and figure out what is really working on Instagram. Look at those particular reels, like few of those. Once you like this sort of content, then algorithm will start presenting you good content in that particular niche, and then just reproduce whatever is working on Instagram, right? And you have to give your own tone to it. So if you see that, okay, day in the life of an entrepreneur, or behind the scenes of building a sneaker brand, or these are 5 things that sneaker freaks, don't care about, or 20 deals that you can, get under $500. So these are few content formats that I'm, referring to. Just experiment with all those formats, put out a reel a day minimum, you can go more the better, there is no restriction on that, and see what is really working organically, what sort of content is being pushed out by Instagram, and just, post probably 30-40 videos. There is really good probability that you will get a viral format through that. Once you have a viral format through that, you need to use super profiles auto DM and give a sort of keyword to people. So let's say if you are a sneaker brand owner and you are saying that these are top 20 deals under $500, and if you see that this content is really working out well, then you just give a CTA at the end of your reel that if you want these exclusive deals, then comment sneakers and I will share a link with you. And automatically you are driving all these interested people in your DMs, where let's say you are sharing link to your website or to your newsletter or to your sneaker community, right? And that's how people will come and engage with your content. And this can be done effectively through super profiles auto DM. You will also be able to see for each and every post that you have created how many DM automations have been triggered, how many people have clicked on it, and then you'll be able to map this whole journey. That if I put out a content piece, it gets about 100K views, 2,000 people comment on it, probably 300 people just click on the button. So you are able to see that, okay, this click-through rate for this sort of content, this is about 15% of DM automations that have been triggered. So this funnel is in fact better than any sort of paid marketing campaign. You don't have to pay anything for this. You are not running any meta ads. You are just using your organic content, driving all these conversations in your DMs, where upselling, cross-selling, asking meaningful questions, building a sense of community, all that takes place. And in those messages, commerce is also taking place, where you are getting people on your wait list on your website or in your newsletters. This is something that I've seen working really well. We had a creator who was building a habit tracker Google Sheet, and he was seeing that this is my payday check and this is how I budget my whole month. So I spend $1,000 on my rent, $400 on my food, $20 for my commute, whatever it is. And he was, just showing that Google Sheet tracker that he had made. And he saw that, this content format really worked. He got million views on that one particular reel. And then he started, just replicating that particular content format. And, he's getting millions of views every single day. I think he has earned, about $20,000 to $30,000 within 2 months just by selling habit tracker Google Sheets.
This ties back to what we talked about, right? I think this is very, very cool. He built this habit tracker for himself. He presents the use case on the reel itself. He probably then shoots out a CTA. If you want this habit tracker that I built, shoot me a DM or comment this keyword, right? Comment CTA. Then his DM automation triggers, it shoots into the comments, and then DM commerce takes place. He sells them. Very interesting. And you talked about also, he replicated, right? This ties back to what you said, which is you have your format. And once you find a winning format, you basically just double down, you replicate it. Maybe you switch out, I don't know, text hook, audio hook, whatever you have to do at the beginning to make sure you vary it at least by a little bit if you replicate it after multiple times. And I find this very interesting because this ties back to what we do as well, right? With these big creator campaigns that we run, this is exactly what we do. You mentioned we broke down the step-by-step. How do we start something, right? You have your niche. You're a founder. You have these things. Let's say you're reselling sneakers. That was the example as well. Or we take the habit guy, the habit tracker guy as an example. You have your niche. Then you scroll your feed. You click, oh, interested in this content piece. As soon as you find something that stops your scroll, right? Something that stops your scroll. You stop it. You like it. And then what we do as well is we save it into what we call a swipe file. So for every brand, for every campaign, for every product, you can have a swipe file, which you can imagine is like a library, right? Just as your physical library in the real world has different sections, different genres, like, you have fiction, nonfiction, right? Fantasy, dark romance, whatever you're into. I won't judge. where you have those different sections, your swipe file can be your library where you have different, like divided by different hook form or different formats, things that you want to replicate, like that guy did. Day in the life of entrepreneur format, boom, goes viral, right? This is my paycheck and this is how I spend my money, boom, viral format. You save those things, and if you want to start, like before you have something that goes viral that you produce yourself, you look at what other people have done that went viral, right? And this is where you go back to your swipe file. I really like that step by step. And then obviously, Super Profile ties in as a fantastic use case. Comet CTA, without having to spend $600 a month, Comet CTA shoots a link into the DMs of the person who left it, boom boom, back and forth, and then I think I heard from you how founders can use it. It's answer questions, right? If there are any objections, or if they start to investigate a little bit more, if you're selling a little bit more of a high ticket product, right? Let's say it's not $10, let's say it's $100, let's say it's $1,000, right? People want to ask a couple more questions. Instead of you, for example, having to hop on a sales call for like a 3K package or whatever, 5K package, selling through the DMs, I think is very, very powerful here. I also heard you can use it for support, right? If people have issues with the product itself, you can use the DMs as a support channel. And Super Profile probably has a couple of things that you can do there as well, where you can like build, I don't know, specific triggers, whatever. If people need help, do that as well. Very, very interesting. Did I miss anything? How founders can leverage this tool?
Yeah, I think you've put this pretty well in terms of how a founder can use it. In fact, for a founder where your personality is major part of the business, it is very important to personalize these sort of DMs. So I'll tell you about this one agency founder who is doing it pretty well. So he does exactly what you mentioned. He has a swipe file which he shares with people. So this is basically fonts that can be used on Instagram, cool fonts that people are looking out for. He has curated list, and this swipe file is something that he shares in DMs. And after half an hour of dropping the first DM, he sends an automated voice note that, hey dude, thank you so much for checking out this file. I'm curious to know if you're building your own business, or do you need any help with content creation? If yes, just tell me what's your niche. I'll be more than happy to help you through this, or provide a free consultation or tips that I can offer you. So this voice note is also something that can be sent via auto DM inside Super Profile. And when you send someone voice note, it's the other person is already very curious, oh, I've gotten a voice note from this person, I need to play this. So voice notes always have higher clicks, and then once that person has listened something, it's a voice, the chances of that person replying amicably, those are much, much higher. So this is something that really works. Also, one reason why people should be joining UGC World is exactly what you mentioned, right? The kind of frameworks and the kind of strategy that is required to excel in content creation is something that's not there on the internet. Even when you can get some sort of guidance via ChatGPT or Claude, you do not have a sense of community. You do not know what sort of trends are working out on internet. And then you really do not have visibility of how other creators are finding success. So that's why you need sense of community. And I think this is a major gap that you and Gloria are filling out through UGC World. So I recommend UGC World to everyone. If you want to succeed through a community, UGC World is the place to go.
I appreciate that. Free little ad. By the way, I'll send you the $20 per PayPal later on as well. No, I truly do appreciate it, and I agree with you. A lot of creators get lost in the sauce, so to say, where they don't have. I think the biggest point of leverage, and I agree with you there, is seeing something that has already worked. Not only worked in general, worked in your niche for the specific product, right? This is how I guess this is how we make our money, right? This is how we make our creators this successful, because we have not only campaign leads and like professionals on this, whatever, whatnot. We have a network of creators who have been successful in the past. So we have a huge swipe file, right? You can just call it that. We have just a huge library of what has already worked. What has already worked for this niche, what has already worked for this product, this type of app, whatever, this SaaS, this e-com brand, this physical product, whatever it has to be. We've been successful in every niche, and which is why it is so easy to become successful as well, even if you're starting out, because you can just literally replicate what has already worked, not only in this niche, but for this specific product, which is why what we call the network effect happens, right? Each creator, the more creators we have in, exponentially the value of the whole system grows, because you have more people ideating more times and being more successful, because they can leverage the knowledge and the success from more people. Very interesting concept. And I thank you again. That's very nice. On that note, though, we have talked about how can founders leverage it. Like people who want to sell, their own app. Let's say they want to sell subscriptions. What else? They want to sell digital products. Could also be done right through DM commerce, through Super Profile. I'm interested in this. How, because the majority of our community is creators, right? We have like 12,000 whatever people. How can, quote unquote, just a UGC creator leverage this technology and I guess this emerging trend? How can they leverage it even if they don't necessarily have something to sell, I guess, to regular people, even if they don't have a digital product? What would you say?
Right. So a lot of people, do not have much to sell, right? But then they definitely can provide a lot of value. I'll tell you one thing that is going viral these days is you make a video about any AI product and then, just tell people to comment prompt and just give them that prompt, right? So it can be sort of image filter that you have used. It can be any Higgs field sort of video that you have made for yourself, right? So just go, use it, and just tell people that, hey, if you also want something like this, then comment prompt and I'll share it with you. And all these creators are doing, one thing, which is whenever people comment prompt, they get a link and then they ask people to first follow you, right? Because 80 to 90% people on Instagram who are watching your reels are non-followers. So it makes sense to nudge them to first follow you and then you provide them the value. And by doing this, all UGC creators who didn't have much of their own distribution are today also becoming influencers by gaining followers fast. So of course, it's great that you are being creative and making really good UGC videos, but it also helps to have your own distribution, to have your own audience. And you can easily do it by gaining more followers really, really quickly. Also, when you have something like this, it also infuses confidence in a brand which is working with you because they see you as a savvy marketeer. They are not just looking at you from a creative angle that, this creator is, good at making videos, but you also understand deep concepts of funnel and marketing, channeling that traffic, and really helping a brand achieve the outcome that it intends to do, right? So as a brand, I would definitely want to work with someone who understands these concepts because I won't have to do a lot of to and fro in explaining why do I want to do this or do that. And also, this helps a creator to come out with, creative ideas. I've seen one creator doing it really well. I think it's Sarah Snow, who makes cooking videos. And she does it for, some other brands as well. But then she herself has a really strong personal brand. She uses, DM automation in a very innovative way. She doesn't tell people to comment any fancy keyword, but she tells people to, comment potato or banana or orange. And then people are just commenting banana, or just putting that emoji of a potato. Like it really, it's such a creative way of engaging with audience, because people know that she makes cooking content, and now people are just putting out potato emojis in her comments, and they are getting links. So similarly, UGC creators who of course make a creative, they can also test it on their own profile by probably asking people to comment, let's say matcha, right? Or comment that matcha emoji. Probably if you're doing any sort of matcha brand collaboration or UGC video, probably this is the funniest way of integrating it with your own distribution and seeing if this works. I think the brand will also be pleased to see you cracking out a viral format for them.
I have the best kind of anecdote to support that statement, like how creators can use this kind of strategy to just be more successful, even if you necessarily don't have a digital product to sell, right? So obviously, I started working together with Gloria beginning 2025, last year, somewhere around there, and we were at 200 followers, like 130. Like we started off from zero, literally zero. And the thing that I noticed happened more and more and more and more. She got, although she didn't, at some point she just stopped doing a lot of her outreach because she didn't need to. A lot more and a lot higher profile brands started to hit her up. And it was amazing what kind of people, like I'm talking, I don't know if any of them were like Fortune 500 CEOs, but there were some serious people in the comments and I or in the DMs, and I saw them, right? Because I think one thing that you mentioned, right, is just the follower growth. This is a strategy that you can use to absolutely hyper boost your follower growth, which is also always a status signal to everybody. Humans, like brands are humans. If they see a big follower count, they're going to see, or they're going to think, wow, this person has some credibility behind them. That's a given. But I feel like you can also, again, sell yourself as an influencer, right? Not only do you see, but leverage your audience. For example, if you have built up an audience in a specific niche, you can do that as a creator too, as an influencer at that point. Or number three, and I agree with you wholeheartedly, she showed in that case that she understood marketing, because she, not only marketing, it's showing expertise, right? If you built an audience based on expertise, brands like if you teach creators how to do UGC, brands automatically think, well, this person obviously knows what they're talking about. Otherwise, they couldn't teach other creators how to do good UGC. Oh, I'm going to hire them. They seem like an expert. So I agree with you. Across all these three categories, incredible points of leverage, even for people who don't need or who don't sell a digital product. Follower growth, then also marketing yourself as an influencer. You can use your audience. And then thirdly, presenting yourself as an expert. I think that's very important and very true. That's cool.
Absolutely.
I guess we're coming to the end, and I just want to appreciate the nuggets that were dropped in here. I put you on the spot in some instances, but I love the nuggets that we got through that. I guess my last couple of questions is, where do you see the industry going? We talked a lot about the creator economy, how founders are becoming creators now. If you want to start, let's say, a company, if you want to launch an app, your moat, the thing that will give you the most advantage in comparison to your competitors, will be your ability to distribute, not necessarily to build the actual thing, because that became easy. I guess, where do you see the creator economy industry going in general?
I think we are still at a very nascent stage of creator economy. I feel that in future everyone is going to be a creator, and we won't look at this profession the way we do it today. Today we think of this as, okay, doing something, being a creator or whatever it is. But then it's just like being a writer. Like you use this particular writing skill every single day. You use it for your business, use it for your company, you use it, just to message anyone. In the future, being a creator will be like this. Like it is an extension of who I am. It is an extension of my personality on internet. And people will, I think, really relate with, these sort of personalities on internet. In a place where AI generated slop is there, what will really stand out is your own personality, reason why humans should be connecting with you. And I think, that's the shape creator economy will take place, in future. So I'm very optimistic about it. And creators will be owning their own distribution in future. I think that's also one thing that I'm seeing will happen. So people writing their own newsletters, running their own communities on school, on WhatsApp, on telegrams. I think owning your own distribution is going to be a major thing. It's going to be a social currency that you can have. And on top of it, you can build any sort of community that you would want. So I think that's how this is going to be.
So yeah, build any community and sell any product. Basically, if you own your own distribution, you can vibe code something in like an afternoon and then make at least 10K a month from it. If you have like 100,000 followers, at the least, I feel like super interesting. What you mentioned writing. Do you feel what you meant is it that creating content is going to become like one of these fundamental skills that human beings in the modern world need to have, like reading, like writing? The third one is creating content.
Exactly. So I think, video is something that comes naturally because people can easily understand you and really understand the nuances of how you speak, what your personality is really like. So I think that's how, creator economy will also shape out, where people will be making a lot of videos. Just like writing, video is also a form of communication. And this is the biggest barrier with writing is that you need to be literate you need to be able to read something, right? So let's say if you write something in German and I don't understand German, then there is this inherent barrier between us to communicate, right? Video breaks that, right? You get automated translations right away, right? I think YouTube is doing that. Instagram is also, doing that for a lot of creators. So video is going to be a natural form of communication in future. And that's how, being a creator, being a video first creator is going to be a major, major thing. Like for me to put out a video today, it takes less than a couple of months, less than a couple of minutes. You just record something and you post it. For writing, I have to first think, I have to edit it, I have to draft it, and then go about it. And then also I know that it will reach, just a smaller sort of audience because it can be read and understood only by people who understand that language, right?
Do you not think before you create a video, Aditya?
Sometimes I try to, but many a times I do not.
Fantastic. Yes, that is exactly how I record my videos as well. I don't think, just talk. Super interesting. You mentioned AI slop, and I feel like, especially nowadays, people keep going back to it, but I think it is very, like it is a pain point right now that is very new, or in front of people's faces, is the whole AI thing, right? Especially when creating content. I feel like I keep going back to this, like every podcast, but where do you see it going, the industry, creating content, creating videos, especially for creators, in the advent of AI content creation tools, video creation tools, what you could call AI slop nowadays? How do you even stand out at that point? And would you still produce human content?
Absolutely. So I think a lot of yapping content is trending these days because people are, fed up with those sort of AI, videos which are there. I recently, saw a survey as well where, people really wanted the brand to, just mention that this is AI content. And, brands are not mentioning it that, the content that they made is AI content because they know the moment someone, identifies a content piece as AI content, they will just skip that content, right? So I think the best way to really stand out is just to be human. Just put that, camera out and start yapping in front of it. Like, I think internet is a huge place where you will definitely find few thousands of people who will really resonate with, who you are and will resonate with your thoughts. So I think, just standing out really requires you to just post content. I think that's the way to go about it.
I think that's actually a really interesting point, and a thing that came up in my mind recently as well. It's like a counter argument to all of these AI pessimists who say that oh, everybody's going to lose their job, yada yada. As long as fundamentally humans will make the buying decision, I feel like they will still, in some cases, still prefer to buy from humans, even if there is AI stuff out there. For example, you wouldn't watch, like, I guess media is a good example of that, like entertainment. You wouldn't watch an AI generated football game, right? Doesn't make sense. Like, what are the stakes there? Like, these are not real humans. I think that's like one example. Right now it's Champions League. Maybe the Americans don't watch it, but in Germany it's big here in the EU. Um, Anyways, I think that kind of stuff will still remain even in the advent of AI. And I agree with you if brands have to disclaim that this is AI generated content. Some people will, be against that. Maybe that will change in the future. Who knows? But as long as not robots will buy from robots, but still humans will buy from humans, I think some things are still going to be just fine, right? I like that approach. I like that point of view. We talked about where's the industry going. Aditya, what's next for you? You can say what's next for Super Profile or what's next for you in your personal aspirations.
I think, I look at my growth in terms of, the kind of growth that the company is, getting. I look at Super Profile to be becoming the biggest creator economy platform in the world in few years. We are already doing really, really amazing work there. And it's not just about, building cool tools, but also helping people achieve outcomes that they really dream of, right? AI is definitely going to be a major part of it, but it's not going to be, AI led, but, in collaboration with AI, where human beings are at the forefront of making content, really building that sense of community, and the operational work is taken care of by AI. So we are soon going to launch, agents, which will take care of a lot of operational aspects that creators have to deal with on a daily basis. They will also take care of, commerce side of it, driving those conversations, helping you identify and make sense of what your audience really requires, and then helping you build that offer, build that pitch, helping you craft that product that your audience truly requires. Because they truly want it from you, because you really are the totem of that particular community that you've built. So creators focus on marketing and building community, sense of love and belonging that their followers have with them. And then, AI and Super Profile really takes care of the boring part. So business is really in the boring trenches that, we talk about.
Lovely. Lovely. I love that. Human first, AI enabled, taking care of the boring admin stuff and all the tech that you would have to do in order to launch something like this, even helping out in, I guess, finding the thing that you can then make money with instead of having to do that on your own, all enabled by AI. I think, unless we forgot anything, those are beautiful closing words. Aditya, where can people find you, or where can people find SuperProfile? What do they need to type in?
So people can find us on Instagram at superprofile.bio and at superprofile for creators, and they can find me on at Eddie on internet. So yes, and they can also find me in UGC community that you are leading in UGC world.
Fantastic. Love that plug. All right. I had a great time talking to you, brother.
Amazing, Alex. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here.